Like the bread, little birdie.
I love this bread.
All right, so nothing's changed.
Prejudice.
I found a TikTok page. It's just called Reggie Rock O'Clock.
Who is that?
Reggie Rock is a Pokemon.
Mm,
And so it's just a bunch of like memes, and then they'll just insert the Reggie Rock sound, which is doom 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 doom. It's like it's even deeper, 'cause Reggie Ice is
Prejudice.
and Reggie Steel is like it's a lot of like shrieking.
Are you recording this?
Yes, he is.
Sweet.
And then Reggie Rock is just like Reggie Rock, Reggie Rock. I'm just gonna pull it up because it's so good. Oh. All right, anyway. I just had to throw that in there because I think the Reggies are the most underrated legendaries of all time.
I've never understood Pokemon.
Welcome to this episode of Whiskey House Pub House. Today we talk about Pokemon. Just kidding. Today is episode 2, night 1 of our previous podcast episode about the single malts. We're moving on to something glorious, you guys. Liquor Boy is joining us again. Dylan is joining us again.
Mm-hmm.
Zach is joining us again. And we're going to have
Today's Turkey Day.
Turkey Day. It's
Good old Turkey Day.
We're going shooting for Turks. Is that a thing? I'm not in the hunting community, so I just made that up. Do you think that's something that could be a thing?
A saying? Probably not.
Hunting for Turks, not like the not like the Turkmenians, or Turkmenistanians, whatever they're called, or the Turkish people.
Mm-hmm.
I just mean, turkeys.
Probably not.
Yeah,
probably it's not. Probably just going turkey hunting. Turkey hunting.
Turkin hunting.
Turkin hunting.
Turpentine turkin hunting.
Wow. Yeah. It's Turkey Day. I don't know what to say much about that.
Does this call for a restart?
No, I don't. We'll see what happened. I'm sure I can make something out of that.
Take 2.
But yeah, so Wild Turkey. So we're gonna be just like that Buffalo Trace episode that we did a while back. We will be doing a summarization history of the distillery that's become what we know today as Wild Turkey, and subsequently a little bit about the brand and the line that they have grown into. But yeah, I should say, because I keep forgetting, and this was something I meant to do on the Buffalo Trace episode, is for this honorary month that we're calling Bourbon Heritage Month of October, we're going to do a bottle giveaway, actually. Yeah.
That's so nice of us.
It is.
They're giving it to me, though, so sorry, guys.
Well, depending on how many listeners or however we give away this bottle, it probably will be you. If you just
Sweet.
do the necessary steps that are required of you.
Mm-hmm.
The odds, you got a pretty good shot.
50-50, baby.
Like, if we exclude out the hosts, yeah, I mean, it's probably like a
33% chance.
Exactly. So
I like those odds.
So keep a lookout. It'll be on the Instagram that we'll be doing that on. But it is going to be, I can tell you that much, it's going to be a Elijah Craig Barrel Proof, 12-year old. It's going to be one of the older releases, probably last year or two. I forget exactly the batch number because I was supposed to bring it and I do not have the bottle in front of me. But I can confirm it is the Elijah Craig barrel proof, and it will be a free giveaway. You don't have to do shipping. You won't have to pay any sort of fee. You just need to have a location and 21 plus be present to sign for the bottle. So that's what we're going to do. And I'll be on Instagram at Whiskey House Pub House. So anyways, getting back to it. Now that's off off my chest. I remembered. Hopefully we'll maybe do a reminder at the end of this episode again.
Yeah, don't worry. We'll remind you to remind
Okay,
them.
okay, go. Mm-hmm. Sweet. So we're going to be doing the Wild Turkey. So starting with Wild Turkey, what do you guys know just off the bat as far as Wild Turkey, either the line of products they have, the brand, or just kind of your thoughts on them in general?
Liquor Boy, you want to go first? Or
Well, I mean, personally for me, Wild Turkey's my favorite. Hands down, no matter what. I mean, I'm a little biased, but I just... They can't do anything wrong.
I understand that a little bit. You know, I vocalized my opinion on Ardbeg and how that's like my equivalent of like they can do no wrong. Yep. And like I'll pretty much buy whatever they do. Like if given the opportunity.
Same for me.
Yeah. And
anytime I see a different bottle of Wild Turkey, I pretty much
the problem
buy
for
it.
you though, or the problem I should say for me, it's more of a blessing in disguise for you is the bourbon right now is extremely, extremely. I mean, whiskey's hot right now, but bourbon, it's hard to get special releases of anything.
Very hard.
Yeah. Whereas Ardbeg's a lot easier, so I'm spending a lot more money on Ardbeg than you probably are on special line editions of turkey, I'm assuming. But still, given some of these that we'll be talking about, you found a way to spend money and find things that the normal person won't be able to do through means, we'll say.
Yep. Definitely found a loophole that was a little expensive, but, you know, got to do what you got to do.
You got to do what you got to do. So, okay. So, it's essentially, this is your brand. Like, this is the one that you'll get behind.
Oh, 100% of the time. Yep.
Okay. Cool. What made you do that? Like, how did you get into that one as a brand?
Started off with me and a buddy, and we had this turkey.
Did we introduce Whiskey Boy?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, sorry.
We had a turkey. And by Dylan's suggestion, we named her Russell. And
after Kurt Russell, of course.
Oh, yeah, obviously. I mean, there's no other Russell.
Who likes Wild Turkey?
Yeah, there's no other Russell that would be relevant in this whole podcast.
Yep.
Russell Crowe.
It kind of, after the loss of that turkey, it really, it hit me in a special place.
How'd you lose it?
It froze to death. I mean, I'm just gonna be honest. Winter's harsh up here.
Yeah,
winter's coming.
That'll happen.
We had a lot of animals that didn't make it that year.
The harvest wasn't as good.
that turkey over that summer. You get to know these animals.
Yeah.
You look at its little gobbledygook in the front. Whatever that's called.
Turkey waddle,
old turkey waddle,
gizzard,
whatever that thing is called. You look at that thing and you cry a little bit. You're like,
just start to tear up.
I love you so much.
You're so ugly. You're pretty.
You're so ugly, and you're so annoying and fat and such a useless creature. I love you so much.
All honesty, though, having that turkey, it. I don't know. It's just like turkeys kind of became my favorite animal for a good while. And I'm like, oh, wild turkey. Oh, that's kind of cool. No. And then I started to explore the variety and kind of opened up the doors to the bourbon world.
Yeah.
It was like the base of.
Okay. Zach, what about you?
Yeah, I've never been too fond of wild turkey. I think wild turkey is what they are is like a pillar in the bourbon world. They've been erected for so long. It's such a giant column of just all of their products have integrity and are substantial brands. And it's like a too big to fail kind of thing. I like their Master's Keep. I like their rare breeds. I like their rye. We're going to have one of their ryes, at least one of their ryes. I will say I've drank enough Wild Turkey 101 to the point where now it just gives me headaches whenever I have it. It's just like it's a trigger thing. I think it still tastes good. Like I didn't get sick of it. I just get headaches now when I have that flavor. It's like you have it so much, and maybe it's because it's physiologically tied with something else in my head that makes me hurt. But
Brings back, built up trauma.
yeah, built up. Well, I don't even know what that would be involving Wild Turkey, but I think a lot of their products are just really solid. That's all. That's what I have to say.
Yeah.
Wild Turkey is solid for me.
I would to add on to that, I would say, it's one of those brands that has stayed. It has been able to continue through Prohibition, and being bought and purchased and sold or whatever, name changes. That there's a lot of companies that go through, and they had their their share, I think, because I think Buffalo Trace is kind of an interesting story, and having been the one that did the outlines for these and doing most of the history on this, it's interesting to see the similarities but also the differences, and that was something that we touched base too, is like just being able to look at the history on it, because it is super fascinating. And once again, it is hard to condense something down and try to have like an accurate viewpoint of something, because there's history can, the way that history like for this distillery can be written, it's sometimes people get fancy with how they say things.
Mm-hmm.
But
as we'll find out, and we don't like fancy.
Yeah, simplify. But I love them. Wild Turkey, it's a staple bourbon. Love a lot of their stuff. Their special editions. Always wanting to try them and get a bottle of it. But yeah, we're gonna kind of get into it now, I think. So yeah. So starting from the beginning, or pretty much the beginning of this, the timeline that we're looking at is we're starting at the 1850. So 1850 to 1859, distillery operating as Old Moor is built in Tyrone, Kentucky, in the general area that would eventually become the Wild Turkey Distillery. 1855, a wholesale grocer, Austin Nichols, began selling wine and spirits. The business would later go on to own and sell Wild Turkey. So I guess we'll just kind of go through a few of those, maybe touch base on this. So, I think Whiskey Boy, you'd earlier said a lot of the older bottles, not that you said it, but a lot of the older bottles of Wild Turkey used to say like an Austin Nichols company or something, or it just said Austin Nichols, and we don't have any bottles that say that anymore. But I think previously you kind of thought that maybe that was like a name of a distillery at one point.
Yeah, I mean, that was just something that I heard from a guy.
Right.
So,
No,
I
and
mean-
I'm not like trying to flame you or something, but because I didn't know what the answer was too, but until now it's we learned at least where one of the names come from. But yeah, kind of interesting. So, and then as far as the distillery being Old Moor, I haven't looked up much of the history on like these older distilleries that transitioned to the Wild Turkey, but be interesting at some point finding that out. So, 1896, the Rippey brothers owned their opened their own family distillery on Wild Turkey Hill in Lawrenceburg, Kentucky.
This is 1869, by the way.
Oh, 1869. Sorry. 1891, the Old Moor Distillery is demolished and replaced by a new distillery, the Old Hickory Springs. James P. Rippey partners with the Ike Bernheim, and production of the J.P. Ripley whiskey begins. Yeah, so Bernheim is a name that pops up. We know that from the Heaven Hill whiskey, Bernheim wheat whiskey.
I've never put that together.
Yeah, there's tons of that though. There's but that's the problem, is like you don't know what brands are related and connected to like an old distillery or just a man's name.
Yeah,
but it's super interesting. Do we want to try, like, we should try the 101, I think, at this point. Actually, no. We'll do one more.
Should we we'll do the 101 when we get to the
introduction
period,
of it?
or the period of time that...
Yep.
Yeah.
So, 1934, Austin Nichols and Company enters the wine and spirits industry. 1940, the Wild Turkey bourbon gets its name after the distillery executive shares his bourbon with a friend on an annual hunting trip. Of course, they were after wild turkey. So that was right there. That one was taken from the Wild Turkey's own distillery page. And this next one is also the same time. It's essentially what I also found another explanation, a little bit more detail about some of that details. So this is still 1940. Austin Nichols executive Thomas McCarthy envisions the Wild Turkey brand and its signature 101 proof. The Ripley Brothers Distillery enters into a production agreement with the Shinley Distillers. So that was like a little bit more detail, or kind of more.
That was the combining of the two kind of brands.
Exactly.
You had the corporate part and the idea, and then you had the development of the grounds of the other distillery where they were, and now we're at the holy matrimony of the two.
And that makes more sense with the whole Austin Nichols question of what that actually is referring to. So that, I think that right there is why those names are so
bottles.
prominent. Yeah. That's the origin right there. So.
Yeah.
But no, it's kind of cool, and I always do a little bit more research. Don't always just like go to one source and like, oh, some random executive from something.
You're saying I can't just go on Wikipedia and read the whole thing?
You didn't just copy and paste this off of Wikipedia?
I mostly did.
But I went to the sources of those.
I threw it. I've been in high school. I threw it through my own words into it. Made
Yep.
But no, I did.
I'm just glad that they were hunting for Wild Turkey to get the name, and not like hunting for something dumb like
elk.
Well, no, I meant like dumb small game, like rabbits or squirrels, or
it'd be wild
squirrel
or
something really weird like alligator.
In Kentucky.
Just saying.
Wild alligator.
Ravens. Wild raven.
That one kind of sounds cool though.
It does.
Yeah.
I should say that people that are like, what happened during Prohibition? They essentially shut down. They were not one of the ones that remained open. They shut down and then reopened in 19. Oh crap! I just had a complete blank on Prohibition ending 1932. Was it 2?
I don't know.
I forget.
I blocked that on my memory because it doesn't matter to me.
Sorry.
We're in a new age.
But the Ripley brothers, Ripey.
I don't even know.
They reopened the distillery after Prohibition.
So that brings us into Wild Turkey 101. We got a team together. We got a distillery.
We got
and
the
a
idea down.
man with a big brain.
We got the Austin Nichols
and lots
guy.
of money.
That's 2 people.
That's 2 folks that want to make alcohol. So now we got 3 folks here tonight who want to drink it. So let's do that.
Let's do it.
And I'm going to get a headache.
Turkey.
Gobble gobble.
Wild Turkey 101, made famous by Jessica Jones.
It just smells like happiness.
Not a single malt.
Yeah, it's a little different than what we were trying before.
Yeah.
Is it already hitting you?
Yeah,
You don't have to drink it.
I poured it though. We don't
Too
have
late.
we don't have a dump glass.
You have an empty water bottle.
Yeah, I suppose.
I mean, that stuff is like, just dump it on the
It's
floor.
cheap.
Who cares?
It's
Yeah.
101. They made
Yeah.
it in 1942.
I'll smell it so I can give you a note, but yeah, I don't really want to drink it.
Super cherry on the nose.
It smells so good.
It seriously hurts. I don't know what to tell
This
you.
is more violent than like the Evan Williams bottle on Bond that you also like disliked.
I hate that a lot. Yeah, that one I don't like because that one I've had too much and I got I drank too much of it and felt hungover from it really bad, and so then it brings over hungover feelings. But I've never actually gotten hungover from Wild Turkey 101. Not that you can't. You can totally do that.
Yep.
But
It's super peppery on the taste. Like for me, it's primary peppery, followed by cherry,
Yep.
oak, vanilla. Actually, brown sugar, then vanilla. As far as if we're talking like primary.
Kind of walnutty.
Yeah.
I smell grapes, like purple grapes.
I could see that.
Oh, it's soapy.
Soapy?
Try it again. I think soapy.
It is.
Like
Dylan
soap-
has successfully
soap, like-
ruined a whiskey for
Like
someone else.
lye soap,
I have
or
no idea. Like a bar of Dove.
yeah.
Bar of Irish Spring.
Can I borrow your dump glass? I just don't want it. There's a lot.
Yeah, we're
And
doing a lot.
If this was all single malt, I'd be like, oh yeah, heck yeah. But
Just get a lot of cherry in that. So good though.
yeah, I guess so. As far as the whiskey in general, the one that we have before us, I mean, that's gonna be like a mid, $20 to $25 bottle. It's good. We've had it before. $30, $20 blind bourbon challenge. It's solid, and I don't have a complaint. And it's not like I say soapy, but it's not.
It tastes good. I mean, it
Yeah.
tastes
It's
extremely pleasant.
Yeah.
There's nothing harming or it doesn't bite back. And the 101, the proof 101, it's not like it's not nail polishy either
No.
for being whatever it is.
Right.
It's just like
The flavors,
It's a gentle.
yeah.
It's a bunch of gentle flavors that you can really just easily sip on it, and that's
Totally.
it really is the best mixer too.
Oh,
'Cause, like
yeah.
all those flavors are nice, mild flavors that just kind of get infused into whatever cocktail you want to make. Very solid choice for cocktails.
So, having had the 101, we're going to go to 1942. Austin Nichols and Company markets Wild Turkey 101 bourbon sourced from Ripley Bros and several other Kentucky distilleries, likely Barton, Beam, Bernheim, and or Shinley. So, a little bit of a sourcing thing going on. Kind of interesting. 1942 would have been interesting to be kind of around that time and see what like what does Barton taste like? What does Beam taste like? Or like even experience Bernheim. Completely different whiskey we'd be talking about. So yeah, super cool. We're gonna go to this next one. Do we want to try? Oh wait, no, sorry. So, all right, so 1954, master distiller Jimmy Russell joins Wild Turkey. He learns his craft from becoming the third in the line of master distillers for the brand, which includes second master distiller Bill Hughes and Ernest W. Rippey, son of the original distiller. 1967. Jimmy Russell is promoted to master distiller at JTS Brown and Sons. So we finally have the Russells, the introduction, and essentially what becomes the face of Wild Turkey as we know it today.
The legends, the myths, the people.
And Carter, too bad Carter's not here. Carter actually went down there and met Jimmy.
Sure did.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
He said he was cool.
Yeah. I mean, if I was a head distiller at a highly successful brewery or distillery, if I was head distiller at a brewery, first of all, I'd be like, "What?
What's going on?
What
here?
is my job?
My job is a sham." But if I was a head distiller at a successful distillery, I think I'd be pretty chill too, because it's like you are the key. You're the success.
Yeah.
So like
You are the brand.
You are the brand, and you just have so much pride. You can't be humbled because you've already proven your craft. There's nothing to be humbled about.
You know, something I just thought about this now, but like looking at all the master distilleries we have, at like multiple other brands like Buffalo Trace and whatever, Woodford Reserve, old not Old Forester, but like Jim Beam.
Brown-Forman.
You know, I guess Jim Beam would be an example of this. What I'm thinking too, but Wild Turkey is a prime example where there's lines that are named and are honoring their distillers that they are promoting. There's not a lot of other distilleries that actually have like lines that are like, this is Harlem Wheatley at Buffalo Trace. This is the Harlem Wheatley signature bourbon, that's commemorating his 25th year working here.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Wild Turkey, look at these. We have, spoilers ahead. We have, the father and son and the diamond that's commemorating an anniversary. There's a lot of that. Even the Russells, they're all really kind of focusing in on the relationship that Jimmy and Eddie have between each other and the distillery as a whole.
Yep.
And that's pretty sweet. The only one that I like off the top of my head that comes to mind is Booker's. And the
What about Elmer T. Lee?
but that's not
That's a whole brand.
and so is Blanton's.
Yeah,
Oh,
They're
okay.
commemorating.
We're saying like you got like special editions.
Yep,
named
gotcha.
after or named after events or people's actions.
Yep.
And not just the people themselves or
Yeah.
not just the whole identity as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
But
Like
yeah,
It's like Ardbeg did that too for the one guy.
Mickey Heads.
Yep.
Yep.
And it sucked. Just kidding. It was fine. We'll try it again someday.
But even that was like commemorating him working there, and that was on his exit.
Mm-hmm.
And even saying Booker's, I forget, but I think Booker's. I don't forget when that came out as far as the relationship of Noah's father. If that was before or after he departed, but anyways, but yeah,
Departed from life or departed from
life
the company?
would have been better.
Yeah.
But Wild Turkey, they're commemorating them now and their achievements, and it's kind of super cool because there's not a lot of other brands that are doing that while they're still working at that place in their career.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of cool. But moving on. So 1971, Austin Nichols and Company purchases the JTS Brown and Sons Distillery, now Wild Turkey Distillery, in Lawrenceburg, Kentucky. The first series of Wild Turkey decanters are also produced. So kind of cool. I found that, you always see empty decanters online and stuff. And so, kind of cool when that found out. It was a little bit later than I was expecting because I know like the Jim Beam decanters, I think started popping up in the 60s a little bit too.
I almost had one for this podcast.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I had one.
Almost is the key word.
I had one this close.
Almost.
Close but no cigar.
Let's try. I don't really have anything written up on the.
The rye or the.
Well, actually, I do.
Russell's
I do.
Reserve.
Let's have the rye now. I have some stuff written up about it. I don't really have a history too
Yeah.
much, but
Give it a shot.
let's pour that. I do have some stats about that. I forgot about. So going back briefly to the Wild Turkey 101, it's obviously it's bourbon, so it has to be aged in oak barrels, new oak barrels. Interesting thing about Wild Turkey is they use a level 4 char known as alligator char. Approximately, it's about 55 seconds direct contact, and that's a little bit. Most of the industry uses a level 3, so they're going a little bit,
A little darker than.
a little darker. But the barrel entry proof between these, and it's changed over time for the barrel entry proof, but modern day, it's that 115. It was lower earlier on, but the higher barrel entry proof you have, the less evaporation you're going to occur, i.e., more product you're going to have to sell.
Right.
But there's trade-offs with that. It's going to pull more tannins out, whereas a lower entry proof is going to pull out more sweetness and desirable flavors, quote unquote. The 101 is a blend age of 6 to 8 years, and the mash bill is 75 corn, 13 rye, and 12% barley. It's considered a high rye.
Considered. It's very fair though. So that's a fair proportion of every grain. Because, 75% corn is not too much for most bourbons.
Yeah.
And 13% rye is plenty of rye to get the flavor out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And just kind of polishing it off with barley makes it... It sounds like a good recipe. A recipe for success.
I mean, we know from experience that it's good.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, so 101 rye actually gives me indigestion.
Oh my
No, I'm just joking. The 101 bourbon gives me headaches.
Makes my gout hurt.
101 rye
Gives me gout.
activates my gout.
So the real brief on the Wild Turkey rye, it's about the same. The barrel's the same. It seems like the entry proof is the same. A little bit younger, but still pretty decently aged. So Wild Turkey, Jimmy Russell, I've heard him say this a lot of stuff, like in interviews and stuff where he talks about the grain, but they're according to him, they've always been a promoter of using non-GMO grains. So all their grains are non-GMO, and the rye mash bill is 51 rye, 37 corn, and 12 barley. So just at that legal requirement for rye, the 51%. So ooh, I like this. I like this better than the bourbon 101.
I do too.
Yeah. A little drier.
It's got such an excellent spice level.
I
It's
love
like
the spice.
an allspice, baker spice kind of thing.
It's minty. Very subtly, but it's minty.
Mm-hmm.
Wintergreen.
Spearmint.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a what's the brand I'm thinking of? The little circles with the,
Mentos?
no. Maybe they are wintergreen brand. I don't know. What's
Lifesavers?
Yeah, Lifesavers. It's a Lifesavers mint. That's what this is.
I mean, I'd definitely take this rye 101 over the bourbon 101.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Straight for sure.
I love it. Oh yeah.
You know, we find 101 everywhere, just regular bourbon.
Uh-huh.
But it took us forever to find this rye.
Yeah. It
Shouldn't be the case anymore. I see this everywhere.
Really?
Oh, everywhere. Especially, of course, I say especially everywhere because I go to Total Wine most of the time, and of course their stocking is the best. But
yeah.
literally, every liquor store I've been to has had 101 rye these days. However, they are it's not cheap. Like it'll usually be anywhere from $10 to $20 more than the
Than the
regular
bourbon?
101. Yeah, because the 101 will be 20 to 25,
Mhm.
and then the rye is always 33 to 42, or 33 to 43. It's I don't know what goes into the pricing model. Why does it cost more to make this and therefore price it
Yeah.
higher? I don't know the difference. Maybe it's just because rye is a more expensive grain, but it's 13%. Like, I don't know.
Well, you got to think about the whole the non-GMO aspect of it. So they're using
That doesn't apply to the regular 101 though.
yes, but the regular 101 is only using a 13% rye in the mash bill, whereas
For the bourbon.
for the bourbon.
Oh, okay.
Whereas the rye 101 is a 51%.
51%, yeah.
So
okay.
if they're, they're using the corn. I mean, corn is compared to rye is nothing. Yellow dent corn is like the cheapest and most widely available thing you can get.
Mm-hmm. That's ethanol corn.
But so if they're using a non-GMO corn, who knows what the price difference between a typical modified, or excuse me, a non-GMO rye. But if they're compared to a one that is, that price difference plus, we're looking at almost a 40% increase in that grain. Yeah. And then rye on top of it is just more expensive in general.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, I would be interested to see what the so many spreadsheets you could look at. How much? What's the profit margin? But yeah,
I love spreadsheets.
I think we got this bottle for it's like $32.
that's not bad. Either.
No.
No, it's not.
Not quite a year ago.
What do you guys know about the JTS Brown distillery?
Nothing.
Yeah, I've never heard of it.
I know I've heard it only because it's I know it's a budget line now, but it's actually pretty decent. One of the better bottom shelf bourbons you can get. But I've never had it. I don't know if it's a Kentucky exclusive, but there's like a lot of those budget ones that are super, super good for the price, but they're
The next Buffalo Traces.
yeah, or they already are.
Yeah, but just not here.
Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. So yeah, maybe one day the GTS Brown Distillery will be on this. 1981, we're looking at Eddie Russell, son of Jimmy Russell, joins the Wild Turkey as relief operator and begins to work his way up to the distillery ladder. 1985, with the asterisk, Wild Turkey 101, the 12-year bourbon changes to the classic cheesy gold foil label for the domestic market. I just kind of added that in because for people that are really into Wild Turkey now or just have been into Wild Turkey earlier on, you'll hear about the cheesy gold foil line and how there's like this aura around those older bottles, and we haven't had one, but I've heard about it enough to where I'm like, I threw it in there. But it's kind of cool. Yeah, it is. It's like a weird foily gold. It's kind of cool. But
This just remind people of because it wasn't a special thing. It was just that was the
right,
common.
it's become a special thing now because it's age stated,
Yep.
and because of that, it just kind of became collectible.
Yep.
And
I just figured too because it's I'm sure every family had a bottle of those in their bar, and then they stopped having it. So when people, if someone were to see it today, they'd be like, "Oh man,
right.
I wish I had that in my bar like my pops used to."
Pops. Yeah, maybe one day we'll have some. All right, so we're jumping ahead. 1991, Wild Turkey introduces their premium rare breed bourbon, one of the first barrel-proof bourbons to hit the market. And then we'll do
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for barrel proof market.
Thank you,
share.
Mr. Eddie. 1995, Wild Turkey follows it up with a launch of Kentucky Spirit, a single barrel, 101 proof bourbon, one of the only single barrel American whiskeys offering at the time. So, That was until recently. I think it was like 47%, and then they released the 101 proofing where you can either I don't know exactly, but it seems like you can either select one or the other as far as proofing for the single barrel ones. But I've never had any of the 101 proofed single barrels. So, well, we do have one option. Do we want to try the rare breed, or do we want to just go to the Kentucky Spirit?
Probably Kentucky Spirit.
Okay.
That'd be
Let's do that.
my choice.
Oh, is that our Kentucky Spirit?
Yep.
Okay,
Oh.
it's right here.
I thought that was Russell's Reserve.
It's behind the Russells. 1985, Austrian rock singer Falco records
What?
Rock Me Amadeus.
Oh. Amadeus, 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 Amadeus. Oh, Amadeus.
I don't speak Austrian, so I can't sing it.
So, Dylan, you always want to find the older version of this bottle, right? Or am I thinking a Long Branch? The
No,
one that,
you're correct.
yeah,
The
the one
Kentucky
that,
Spirit.
yep, and it's got a turkey's
Yeah.
fan.
Alex and I used to call it the maple leaf bottle because for some reason it reminded us more of a maple leaf than like the back of a turkey.
I want to say it's referred to as the fan bottle, but I'm not.
Is that why when
100%.
someone like refers to your fanny, like your butt, it's because they're referencing turkeys?
It would make sense.
Could be.
It's not spicy on the nose like the
Uh-uh.
101 is. But you can smell the cherry.
Like I didn't have the 101 just now.
Oh, that's way
But-
better than the 101 normal.
It's way better.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't like this one.
Really?
Yeah.
This doesn't have any of the strong peppery notes to it, and also the soapiness is gone.
Mm-hmm.
This tastes like a lot of the other turkey products that I have because I don't have the 101, but I have like the Russells and stuff. This tastes more like the Russells and just any of the different less common lines of Wild Turkey. This is surprisingly way different than the 101.
Yeah, because I don't like this because it doesn't have that great of a smell, which I won't dock it points for not smelling like, roses and flowers and beautiful things. But when I drink it, it just kind of has this like artificial, almost unnaturalness to it. It tastes like they added something to it.
As
to
far as
me.
like a sweetness, like
Yeah.
an unnatural sweetness.
No, like an unnatural, it's a syrup thickness
Oh, okay.
with like it kind of tastes like medicine. Got a little
Okay,
medicine vibe
yeah.
to it,
Yeah.
I could see that.
a little medicinal thing.
I mean, yeah, so like it's a cherry cough syrup as far as texture. Maybe not.
Yeah, maybe not texture, and that doesn't taste super cherry flavored to me. But yeah, it has this super evaporative quality that
Okay.
it really leaves the tongue fast. I mean, you get that initial hit of the sweetness, and then it just literally fizzles away. It's just gone.
Do we know what the approximate age of this one is on this single barrel, or do they really list it? For sure, at least 4 years old.
Yeah, there's nothing that says it.
Okay.
All it says is the dump date,
Google.
8/30/2019.
Does it have a warehouse on it?
Warehouse F.
Okay.
Barrel number 1490.
That was a good one. Love that one. I'm glad
It's my
they picked,
favorite.
I'm glad they picked that one instead of 91 of the same designation in Rick House.
According to
Breaking Bourbon.
Breaking Bourbon. That it's non-age stated, but per the company's website, this is 8 years. But I don't know what part of the website they got that from.
Okay. Right.
And other people estimate that it's 6 to 8 years. So
So yeah, that's 16.
yeah,
Yeah. I like it. I think I forget what the approximate range on this is, but it's probably like that $40 to $50. I thought.
I didn't buy this bottle. It's not mine. It's Carter's.
Thank you, Carter.
Again.
Mr. Willie.
So
A total wine is $50, so that's how much it is. That's just
I've seen
across the
I've seen
country.
store picks for like
Oh.
80.
Across the country. Total wine is
No.
that's the bar.
Total Wine is the standard.
$50.
Any more than that, pass it.
Ripped off. $50.99, you got screwed
Has to be 50 on the dot.
on the dot. $49.99, that's a
With
deal.
tax
That's
or
a
without
deal.
tax?
That's without tax.
Okay.
I thought I had the. Oh wait, no, it's. What happened to that? I thought I had that in there. I'm not sure what I did with the when they released Russell's Reserve. I thought it was 2006, but I don't have a 2006 entry. Anyways. So, moving on. 2000, Master Distiller Jimmy Russell is inducted to the Kentucky Bourbon Hall of Fame. 2004, Jimmy Russell's 50th year at Wild Turkey. Yeah. So he's super old.
He is.
Been around the block. Yeah, sorry,
I-
I'm trying to find the Russell.
No, yeah.
I
Reserve
believe,
release.
if I have my facts correct, he's the oldest living distiller in the world.
I'd believe it.
At least that's what I've heard.
I mean, I don't know anyone else that's that old.
I mean, he's just
He's
don't know
like-
anyone that's just that old.
He's so old. His car license plate says 2.
What?
So he had the second car in Kentucky.
No, his
Yeah, Russell's Reserve debuts in 2001.
Oh, okay.
Bottled at 101 proof. It's a 10-year-old Kentucky straight bourbon.
Oh, it was at 101 originally.
Yep.
That's super interesting because now it's 45, the 10 year.
Yep, it says that happened in 2005.
Oh, okay.
So it started as a 101, then turned into 90 proof. It's the same bottle that's on the shelf today.
Well, that's a good segue, I think, to lead into the Russell's 10 year. What do we think about that?
It's as good of segue as any.
Any segue is a decent segue.
It's just another little thing that I tried to get for the podcast again.
It's been a lot of trying, but no
Yeah.
succeeding lately. I'm seeing.
You know, I'm gonna blame other people for that. Other people are just
So do I.
stupid.
I blame you.
Okay. I mean, I was like so close to getting my hands on a Russell's 13-year batch 1, which was released last year,
Yeah.
but it ended up not working out.
And we probably won't even see batch 2 or 3
Well, there's only 2.
or 4. I'm just saying when they come out.
You know, I might have a guy.
But gosh darn it, Liquor Boy's gonna try.
He's on those.
I am-
He's gonna try
friend
as hard as he
groups.
can.
I'm gonna try so hard. I'm
so hard.
I'm gonna do everything in my power to get those bottles.
Well, because in the end, it doesn't really matter, anyways.
You still had to finish the line, but you wanted to do it authentically. Oh, this smells so dusty. I mean, maybe my
Really?
glass. Yeah, well, maybe my glass is just getting. I gotta rinse it out a little more. But
You have the Wild Turkey glass. It
Yeah.
should be.
yeah,
as
it
good
should
as
be
any.
destined.
Mine just
It should
always
just
smells
like turn
Blanton's.
gold when you put Wild Turkey in it.
So this Russell's 10 smells like it's like more concentrated as far as that like cherry note. And I said cherry cough syrup as far as like the flavor on the other one. This one
Yep.
just smells like that. Like it smells super condensed. It's got those super cherry notes, we'll call them.
Smells
and that's
kinda
all in the
thick.
nose. Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, and this is only 45.
Yeah, I'm gonna give my glass a rinse after this one because it just smells musty, mossy, damp.
I wonder if the Stranahan's ruined it.
That might
I
just
mean,
be my.
that would have been
basement.
from the get go, because I smell this literally smells like nothing. Like everything else has had a smell
You sure you don't
and
have COVID?
until this one. Just now,
Yeah, it just hit you.
Boom.
It's weird because usually when I smell bourbons, I am not one that actually gets this much nose or like much off the nose. usually for me, bourbon is so condensed and confined that I don't get much off the nose until I taste it, and then it seems like it opens up.
Speaking of opening up,
Excuse me.
I can't taste it either. Just kidding.
It's so heavy with the cherry.
Is this water?
This water? The spicy water.
Why is it spicy?
Yeah, that's good. It's got a little bit of the oak in this. Kind of makes me. It tastes like, in the best way possible, it tastes like ash, a little coal kind of thing to it. It's got like it's that charred,
The level 4
that
alligator
level
char.
Yeah, that level 4 alligator
Alligator
char
char.
makes its way through. It's got a little.
Ain't that just
It's a little peppery, not too
It's a little
much.
citrusy.
Yeah, I can see what you mean. I don't know if it's I
It-
might not
it's
as
like
interpret it as
orangey.
citrus, but I understand what you're saying. Like,
Like you get the cherry, but there's also that little hint of
Yeah,
orange peel.
Yeah, orange peel.
Yeah,
Yeah, totally.
let me go back.
Completely agree.
I already finished mine.
I'm halfway there on seeing the citrus. To me, I'm split between. It just seems to me as like a very strong cherry followed by pepper, where it's like it's almost seems like that's what's interpreting to me that orange note.
Could be.
But then I also do see it like yes, I either
It is.
we're seeing the same thing and calling it different things,
things.
or I'm also picking it up and
Calling it something
Whatever.
different. Yeah,
Yeah.
because this is not citrus juice. It's not citrus at all. This doesn't have any juicy quality to it. It's just that fibrous orange.
Yeah.
It's
like
the
the
interior of the skin.
Yep.
It has that. It doesn't.
Yeah.
It doesn't taste sweet or juicy or refreshing like an orange does. That's not the orange part we're talking about.
But boy, do I like this one too.
It's one of my favorites.
I don't know if I would. I'd probably do the Russells over that single barrel.
Yeah, this is my favorite so far among the four we've tried.
It's weird though because I was telling someone it might have been Whiskey Boy, but I really have to be in the mood for a bourbon. Like, if I come home and I'm like I kind of want a whiskey, it's not like I want like a bourbon. No, it's like I'm gonna grab a single malt of some kind, whether if that's an Isla or any sort of American single malt, but it's probably going to be 80% of the time it's going to be a single malt. And I don't find myself very often gravitating towards a traditional bourbon, at least we'll call it. But whenever we do it on the podcasts, I do enjoy them. But it's like I almost have to be forced to be drinking a bourbon, otherwise I'll just grab something else.
Yeah. That's bourbon's about, I'd say probably 90% of what I drink.
Right. Because you're being suppressed by your father and his non-liking towards scotch.
He likes scotch. Just
That's what a person that doesn't like scotch would say.
They like scotch.
yeah, I like scotch, but
You hate it. I can tell.
Stop putting words in your mouth. Let me do it for you. You hate
stop
it.
speaking.
Stop talking. It's my turn now. All right. Clean my glass out.
Oh, yes. Do you want to?
It smells. I rinsed it with water, and Liquor Boy needs to retrieve the next couple.
Next trio.
Yeah, should we go through the history a little more? Is there
Let me-
much history to tell between Russell's and the next?
We're speeding up towards the modern day real quick.
Yeah.
Um,
the modern day world past 2001,
let's see.
which
All right.
to us is a lifetime ago, literally.
Yeah, so we're at 2004. So what happened in 2004? 2004. When did Transformers come out? It was like 2008.
I don't know.
2004.
I'll look
What movie? I was confused for a second when I grabbed that bottle. Like, Finding Nemo came out.
Shark Tale.
Shark Tale came out. Jack Black is on top of the world.
Yeah, Kung Fu Hustle. Anchorman.
Oh, that is actually an important bit.
I want to be honest, there's not a whole lot of great movies. Oh, never mind. Totally. No.
Oh,
hold on. Back to back.
Oh, my goodness.
Back to
I'm
back.
seeing this now.
Napoleon Dynamite and the SpongeBob SquarePants movie.
The Paddy Wagon. That reminds me, I found a video that these two guys made the Paddy Wagon out of an electric golf cart
Nice.
where they removed the batteries and put a motorcycle engine in it.
Okay.
And
Isn't that what gas carts already have, though?
but it was like a 700cc
Oh, okay, yeah.
like motorcycle
Yep.
engine transmission. And he drove it from his house to he sent his buddy on vacation, and to surprise him they finished it, and then he drove it out. And they put bigger wheels inside, but then they put like the pickle looking things on the outside,
Yeah,
so it looked like he was on
hubcaps.
Yes, so he looked like, because these would move,
Yep.
but they weren't main supported, but they would still move. So it looked like it was perfect. It was hilarious. He was getting pulled over by cops that wanted to take pictures.
Yep.
And like there was like anytime he stopped, there's just a group of people with their kids coming to go sit in the Paddy Wagon.
That's so cool.
It was hilarious. And
I wish I could, like, you have the imagination, man. Sometimes you have the ideas, but man, to just do all that work to fabricate and machine and, cut or measure twice, cut once, all those things, and just I couldn't.
It's too much for my small brain.
It's too much for my teeny tiny brain to handle.
But man, the SpongeBob SquarePants movie slaps.
That movie was my childhood.
That is such a good movie.
That came out in 2004?
Yeah.
Wow.
SpongeBob came out in 99.
Yep.
So it was a 5-year anniversary. Jeez, yeah. That was such a good movie. Anyways. What a time to be alive. It was Jimmy Russell's 50th year anniversary, and SpongeBob SquarePants came out.
Do you think he watched SpongeBob?
I guarantee you that's what he did for his 50th.
No.
So we're going to the movies.
Because that when we're 50, we're going to watch whatever popular children's cartoon was on at the time.
Which would be what the equivalent of like what's on TV anymore
today
like,
for kids.
What's the one with the dogs?
That doesn't narrow it
Paw
down.
Patrol.
Paw Patrol.
Yeah, I love Paw Patrol.
But it's so dumbed down. Like for kids, like there's no. SpongeBob was pretty edgy for being a kids movie still.
Well, I mean,
Or show.
it was the one show that made you dumber when you watched it. I mean,
Yeah.
what other show could say that?
I don't know.
Just SpongeBob.
Chowder was a good one too.
Chowder.
That
Oh,
was
yeah, Chowder.
Oh no! Rattle.
I will eat anything for food or for money. For money, I will eat anything for money.
All right.
Speaking of drinking, though, I'll drink anything for money.
Exactly. Support us on Patreon. All right, 2010. Eddie Russell is inducted into the Bourbon Hall of Fame by his father. So not Jimmy Russell. Eddie Russell is inducted.
What a bunch of nepotists.
That seems like favoritism, if you ask me.
Yeah.
I mean, that'd be pretty cool, though. Your own dad.
Well,
It's like that meme when Obama is giving the Medal of Honor to the photoshopped Obama.
I could see it too. That's what it looks like. Yeah. Well, that's pretty cool. That goes back to like who, I don't know. Doesn't mean it doesn't happen, but like the fact that they're both master distillers currently, they're sharing the title, but the fact that so Jimmy Russell gets inducted to the Bourbon Hall of Fame, which already I think to be alive and be in that group is already impressive to begin with.
Yep.
Because most people, I mean, there's a lot of people that die and then get inducted into it.
Yeah.
So not only is Jimmy Russell living and in the Hall of Fame, but then he gets to induct his son, who's also living, into the Hall of Fame.
Yep.
That they're both also serving as head distillers for Wild Turkey.
Don't see that every day.
No, you don't. Well, you don't see that anywhere else. I don't know of anything. Doesn't mean it's not happening, but it's
Right.
like I don't know of any other distillery that's doing that. And that's what makes these guys, Wild Turkey, amazing. Is that essentially they're their face for the distillery is the father and son that
It
make
is.
the product. And then also Matthew McConaughey, which we'll talk about a little later.
Yep.
It's like the other kid. It's kind of weird, actually. Huh. Yeah. So 2015, Eddie Russell is officially given the title of Master Distiller, then making Jimmy and Eddie the only active father and son duo of bourbon master distillers in the world. I answered my own question, and I wrote this, and I forgot about it.
It doesn't
Yep.
happen anywhere else.
Yeah.
Nope. It's only
Yep.
only place.
Yep.
But it says active. Only active. So if you copy and pasted this, that means that they know of
Somebody
another-
knows.
Somebody knows of another inactive father and son duo. There's
Fades away.
Yeah.
My sister.
my sister. Leia's my sister.
Leia's my sister.
Matthew McConaughey is my brother. He makes whiskey.
He makes whiskey. 2018, Wild Turkey introduces Long Branch, a small batch bourbon refined with Texas mesquite and American oak charcoals, and the first co-creation from master distiller Eddie Russell and creative director Matthew McConaughey.
All
like the
right, all
voice.
right, all right. Should we drink that?
I think we should.
Yeah. Dang.
That was violent.
It's been a long time since I've had this. Probably about the same time, like around when it came out.
I had it last night.
Yeah, well. So the Long Branch came out in 2018. Collaboration between creative director Matthew McConaughey and Eddie Russell. This whiskey is reportedly 8 years old. It says it on the bottle tag. And it's filtered using oak and mesquite charcoal. It's also 43% alcohol.
By volume.
So you're talking about like not being able to get much off the nose. This is one that I am finding the nose more subdued.
Yeah.
And gotta wonder if it's the charcoal. So
I think it smells like charcoal. Straight up.
It does.
I mean, straight up smells like ash.
this wouldn't be like the Jack Daniels where they feed it through charcoal vats. This would be more like the Evan William where it's they dump it into a charcoal vat, I think, or not a vat, but
Filter
through
or
it, and it goes through, after emptying the barrel. Words. Yeah, it's a more subdued version of other stuff. Probably the Russells, I would say.
It's pretty boring.
Yeah. It's sweeter.
I
It
can't.
is.
It doesn't linger as long.
I can't pick anything out though.
I mean, it's a little oaky.
It's super quick. Like
Yeah.
the flavor goes like, oh, that's nice, and then
Yeah.
it's like, whoa, it's gone.
this is something that I would just throw a cube of ice in just to make it last longer, I guess, because I can't imagine it tasting any thinner than this.
It's definitely. I own the bottle, and I just don't drink it a ton. It's just not my favorite.
I can't pick out the mesquite. I don't have much references for mesquite, but like even just looking for oak or something, I mean, it tastes like it's been cleaned, like it's scrubbed of like harsh
Flavor?
flavors. Well, like the peppery note, I think
Yep.
it would be an example. Like that doesn't seem like it's around.
Mm-hmm.
The alcohol burn certainly isn't, but who's to say if that's between the 43% alcohol or the charcoal and mesquite filtering. Is it bad? This is a really good bourbon, I would say. Like, I have no negativities about it, just saying it's not as flavorful as the other whiskeys before
Mhm.
it, or probably after, hopefully. I forget what the price point is. I think it's around $40.
I think this one was 43.
Yeah, I have nothing bad to say about it. Just was like, oh, it'd be nice if it was maybe a little more flavorful. But I like that it doesn't have a burn. The alcohol's present. It's not like it's drinking water.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's good.
It doesn't have enough going for it for me to really. I would never recommend this ever. I would never say, hey, you might like Long Branch. I would never say that.
It's
I
just
don't know.
kind
I
of
don't know
plain
anyone who
for
would.
me.
I would say like, unless they're like the most boring person ever. I might compare them to Long Branch, but I would never say, "Hey, you
Suggest it
should
to
have
them.
Long Branch."
I know what I would say. I think if somebody who doesn't drink the 101 because it's too high proof and because there is an 81 proof Wild Turkey,
Yep.
I'd say you should try the Long Branch. You'd probably like it. You'd
Something
probably
that doesn't
it's
burn
more
as much.
right. I think that would be the next step, or not necessarily like it's the next step. Like you have to start at the 81, but otherwise, yeah. I mean, get the Russells or get the American Spirit or not American Spirit. The Kentucky Spirit.
The other lines in this
Yeah.
brand are the same price and better.
Right.
So just forget about it.
Yeah. But I don't hate it. So
I mean, personally, for me, out of the ones that are probably the most readily available, the 6-year Russell's Reserve Rye is my absolute favorite.
interesting.
Cool story, bro.
Definitely.
I mean, I'd
value.
pick that 10 times before I'd pick a Long Branch.
Definitely value.
And I see
your
the Long Branch
opinion.
more than I see the 6-year Rye.
Right.
And I don't think that it's that much more expensive than the Long Branch.
You know, I think I don't actually see the Long Branch frequently. I'd probably say it's only the big retail stores like Total.
Total Wine.
I don't see it much in like Ace or 44 or like
1010.
yeah, like you don't really see it, which is interesting. But actually, you know what? 44 in France, I don't even really see any turkey products.
There's been quite a few liquor
might-
stores
yeah.
that they don't even have 101.
What?
Yeah. No, he's right. I forget if it was the 101 or the 81, but one of those two were allocated. I think it was the 101 just because of the proofing. For a long time it was allocated, and they were doing 81 to try to increase production or product. Okay, 2020. Rare Breed Rye is released. Yeah. Side note, this is a real side note. I just added this in for clarification for the Austin Nichols thing. Austin Nichols is not a person, it's a company. First shows up in 1861 when Robert F. Austin joins the Fitz and Turner firm, resulting in Fitz, Austin, and Turner. Then in 1878 to 1879, James E. Nichols bought interest in Fitz and Austin, resulting in the creation of Austin Nichols Company. Yeah, I'm not sure why I put it that there instead of further up, but I did. So anyways,
This is just something this was written in the same way it was learned. It was
True.
So, but that's good because as the listeners are also learning in the same way.
Same way that
we
all of
learned
us
it.
learned.
Yeah.
I'm your teacher.
Those who can't teach. Those who do. Those who can't teach.
And those who can't teach.
And those who
Our
really
gym
can't
teachers.
drink.
Yeah. So that's pretty much, that brings us up to modern day, Rare Breed Rye is the newest main core release that they've added to. So being that we could either, if we choose to, we can do Rare Breed Rye, or we can continue down and try different expressions.
I've had Rare Breed Rye.
Okay.
And I've had it enough to kind of, I already know what it's like.
Mm-hmm.
And I do want to try the other expressions.
Understood.
Yep.
So, with that being said, we will go down the line. I think we will start with the Forgiven.
So violent.
So the Wild Turkey Forgiven, released in 2014, at least this edition batch. This is the batch 303. This is made from 76% 6-year-old bourbon and 22% 4-year-old rye. The story goes that the whiskey was created by accident because a crew member mistakenly mixed together bourbon that was in a storage tank with another storage tank holding rye whiskey. So that mixed together, and then apparently the Russells tried the whiskey and thought it resulted in a unique whiskey experience, and thus forgave the employee, as it were, resulting in thus the line "forgiven."
Makes sense.
And so they call it the Augustus Gloop.
Yeah, I did hear from a newer podcast episode of the Switch. The podcast escapes the name of the podcast escapes my name, but the employee that did it still works there, which is kind of fascinating.
Probably got promoted.
It was Eddie.
He was disciplined at first, like they're like, how could you do that, you idiot? And then they're like, all right, that worked out really good.
Here's a check.
Here's a check.
$20,000.
Congratulations on your stupid mistake.
I didn't add it in, but you and I had talked about recently, for those who are in the loop of releases, the Unforgotten. Another master's
Unforgiven.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was.
I thought for the longest time that's what it was.
They forgave him at first and then realized it sucked. And then they kicked him out.
Unforgave it.
He did it again.
He could strike gold twice.
I think it was a gal, so I shouldn't say. I should clarify. I think that's what it was.
Sounds
but anyways,
familiar.
it doesn't really matter. It's just,
not that women don't matter, as for distilleries workers. It's just that in the context of the story. Put that out there.
Just putting that out, out there. But the Unforgotten is another blend of bourbon and rye, but it's Master Keep series, higher proof, a little older. I forget exactly the details on it. I didn't check into it at the time I was writing this, but it was kind of cool. It's seeing that they're actually still doing something with that. I wouldn't say line, because Forgiven as a line hasn't been produced since
since the accident.
2018, since the incident. But who knows? Maybe we'll see it resurface again in a non-exclusive edition.
That'd be interesting.
$200 bottle.
How long have you had this bottle?
Probably 2019.
Is that when it was opened?
That's when I found it. I found it on the shelves still for $54. And I'm like, whoa, what is this?
Yeah.
Because I recognized the old bottle being a rare breed, but I wasn't familiar with Forgiven at the time.
It doesn't give off a whole lot of smell.
It's different.
It's pretty muted.
But I don't know how to explain. Maybe it's got more of that mintiness that we kind of talked about in the 101 rye.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. All right, I'm going to go in.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely different, more so than any of the other ones.
Yeah, it's got a nice little metallic, little copper to it.
Yep.
It's got a nice little. I get the oiliness kind of resembles like a fatty grizzle from like a piece of bacon.
I think this is 45.5% alcohol.
No, this is probably the best one I've had so far. Of the
This
lineup.
is really good.
And at the time, it was, $50.
Yep.
54.
At the time.
I've never even seen one before.
Yeah, I only saw one. They had one. I bought it.
This is really good.
They also were selling Ardbeg Quarter Reckon for like $40. I should have bought all of them.
Wow.
Should have bought all of them.
Taking them all. Yeah. I will say on subsequent sips, you got to really dig into it to get all those flavors. If you drink it kind of casually, it doesn't. The flavors don't stand out. You got to seek them out.
What we said about the 101 rye being like we take it over the 101 bourbon. This is almost a perfect harmonization between the two. Like, it's got that nice mintiness that the rye had. It's got the freshness. But it also has kind of the viscosity of the bourbon to it, because this is not dry, like the rye was.
Nope. This is just an upgrade. This is Wild Turkey 201 or 202.
Yeah. No, I like it. Yeah,
That was a very good mistake.
and you're
this
never gonna
person
have it
made.
again.
Yeah. No wonder they forgave him. They're just like, man.
This is.
He's like, Freddie and or Eddie and Jimmy.
Freddie.
I'm combining Freddie No and Eddie. Eddie and Jimmy, they probably just got drunk that night on this stuff, and they're like, we can't fire this guy, Dad.
We love this guy.
We love you, man. This is beautiful. Yeah, it's really good.
It's the first time Jimmy ever saw Eddie cry.
All right. That's enough.
What's up next?
Up next is I'm going to rinse this glass.
I think we'll do the diamond.
Diamonds are forever.
Diamonds are forever. Did you ever watch that James Bond movie? It was like the last one. It was the one Sean Connery came back for. That became his last one. Filmed in Las Vegas before they had like developed sprinklers and everything was just dirt. Terrible movie.
I have not seen that movie. I mean, there's a lot of James Bond movies I never saw. I've really only seen the modern ones with Daniel Craig and then my favorite Sean Connery ones.
Oh, they're far superior.
Right. Well, Thunderball was my first Bond movie ever. I just thought Thunderball was just the bee's knees. Such a cool movie. Great Bond girl. Great. I love the harpoon fight underwater, and like they all had little like mini harpoon rifles, and then they're all one shot though. And so when James Bond did, he like shoots someone, they have their emphatic death, and then he just go over and just take their harpoon and then shoot another one. Like there was one of the scenes was just him like chaining 3 people together like that. That's good. And you have the submarine, and the bad guy had an eye patch. Classic eye patch guy.
Anyways, back to the whiskey.
So what's special about the diamond?
So the diamond, it was a limited release for Jimmy's 60th year anniversary at Wild Turkey.
Yep. In 2014, this is a blend of 13 to 16-year-old whiskeys selected by Eddie Russell for a 60-year tribute to his father, Jimmy. 36,000 bottles were released in the U.S. And we're going to give our thoughts, but I did take some of the reviews at the time.
This smells like shampoo. That's crazy.
It kind of does.
That's awesome.
But it's not like it doesn't smell like soap. It smells like a scented shampoo.
It smells like bubble bath.
Yeah.
Yes. Not because we talked about the bar of soap.
Yeah.
No, it's not that.
No. And I'm not saying it, because shampoo can mean many different things. I just mean that's crazy this can smell so perfume-like.
Yep. Yeah, it's not like a...
It's cool. I'm going to taste it.
Yep. It's way vanilla compared to the other ones. Wow.
What's the proof on this?
Low 40s, I think.
It's 91 proof.
Oh.
That's it.
Yeah. 45.5%.
Before I would have said all the cherry notes are leading on all the other ones. This one's not. The cherry is back way further. This is way more vanilla than the other ones have been.
Mm-hmm. Wow, this like taints your mouth with.
It's
taint. I don't mean taint. I shouldn't say taint. This lingers. It coats in your mouth for so long.
It's not viscous.
No,
but it's a coating, like you said.
I can't get it out of my mouth.
Yeah,
like that's what I mean. Is like when I talk about the finish of a whiskey, it's kind of like what it tastes like as it rounds out. This never ends. It just keeps getting more acidic as it lingers.
I've never had it, but there's the Jim Beam vanilla. This is how I would imagine what that would taste like without being super overly or artificial.
Yeah.
This legitimately tastes like a very subtle infusion of like a natural vanilla bean, and they took it and found a way to subtly accent a very nice older bourbon. I am really getting hung up on the vanilla being so prominent.
It's just, it hits you so hard when you first take a sip. It just coats your mouth.
And I want to go back to the nose, because we said shampoo, but we didn't really actually say like what what does it
Ocean
smell
breeze.
like? Yeah.
Suave.
You're not wrong. No.
Suave 3-in-1
kinda,
Ocean breeze.
I get it. Like,
It's
it makes
coconut.
sense.
It's like a coconut. You're on the beach, white sand beach,
Is it palm oil?
maybe some coconut on the nose. Yeah, it's like a coconut shampoo without the soapiness. It's just that super dense, aromatic smell that you get from a shampoo.
No. Yeah, I will say, like, just overall, I don't actually like this as much as the Forgiven. I like the taste of the Forgiven more than this.
I like this more than Forgiven.
Yeah.
That vanilla is,
It's weird.
it's weird, but it's really good.
Well, I was gonna say this is probably the oldest Wild Turkey product I had, but it's not necessarily true. And we'll get to an older one, but I don't know what the ratios of either of these are. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
But I don't remember this in older turkeys being prominent with a vanilla. It's weird, at least for me, for a Wild Turkey product.
Mm-hmm.
So, any notes on the palate that we didn't talk about that's dominant?
I couldn't describe a whole lot.
I dig it. Yeah,
The copper is really all I got.
yeah. So, I thought this was interesting, so I wrote it down. This is from Breaking Bourbon. The person that reviewed it at the time it was released had this to say. There's a quote. Although this bourbon lacks an obvious wow factor, it is evident you are paying a premium commemoration of a milestone of a great man. This is a must-have for every Wild Turkey fan. For everyone else, I recommend a pour at the bar. And he gave it a 3 out of 5 stars. I agree 100% with if you're a Wild Turkey fan, like, you got to have this. I don't
Yep.
think you have to own it, but I would mostly go with like, yeah, you have to try it. Normal people, especially now when that came out, yeah, you probably more easily get it at a bar. But it's really good. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm trying to like analyze what because I see this in myself too. He said how it doesn't have the wow factor,
Right.
and how much the wow factor really influences for
Right.
me a lot. But like that, my impression of a whiskey, because I love things that are unique. Like if something's bad and it's unique, that's still a wow factor for me. I'm like, oh, that's cool. It's gross, but it's cool.
But it's cool.
Yeah.
And this actually did have a wow factor because it tastes so metallic. I've never had the next most metallic thing I had besides that was the old Ezra and the Blood Oath line.
Yeah, the Lux Row stuff
Lux
does
Row
have
stuff.
a weird
Yep. That's the only
metallic note.
that's the only other whiskey I've ever had that tasted anything like that. So I think that's super cool. But overall, I would in the end agree with this person and like, yeah, it's all right. But it kind of has a legacy tied to the drink.
Mhm.
And when you think about the legacy as you drink,
Makes it a little.
it makes it more special.
Yeah.
The event, the occasion of the drink.
Mhm.
So that's why we're doing this bourbon heritage thing too. Is you can make it doesn't have to be a special whiskey you're drinking,
Yeah.
but when you're drinking on a special night or for a special occasion,
That's what makes it special.
yeah, and it's like it's just a nice little powerful little elixir that we're all sipping
Yeah.
on, and it really adds to the occasion.
It totally is. It makes it highlights a moment.
Yeah.
It's not needed for the moment, but it kind of puts a emphasis on it. But yeah, no, I was actually a lot. I was more impressed with it. I thought going in after looking at reviews of it that it was like, oh, I'm not sure. Like, I'm worried that this isn't going to be as great as I'm hoping it is. And I think that kind of leveled out the anticipation I had for it. And then I came away with, this is more. Well, it's better than I was originally thinking. So I was happy with what we came away with. But what are your thoughts on it, Liquor Boy?
I mean, yeah, the vanilla just stands out so much, and I mean, I love vanilla stuff. So I mean, it just.
You just are a vanilla person.
I guess I am. It's really good. It's really good, and like Zach was saying, it's not always the specific bourbon, but it's what it means and the occasion.
Yeah.
But that being said, I still think it's very tasty.
No, such a great analysis. 1 out of 5.
That's usually what I get. So I'm used to it.
All right, so we're gonna do the next one we're gonna do the Fathers and Son edition, 13 year, and well, let's pour that out. I don't really have much written up on that because I forgot that we had that one. Yeah, give me some of, I guess, my bottle on the Buffalo Trace. You and I can have the Buffalo Trace one, Zach.
Sure.
So with this being the 13 being within that, I already forgot what the range was with the diamond. I know the cap was 16
13
years.
to 16.
Okay, so I'm curious to see if this being right at the beginning of that 13 year. Of course, the diamond's youngest stuff in the diamonds is 13, so the youngest stuff in this is, well, actually this is still 13. Never mind. I'm not understanding how age statements work. I'm curious if that vanilla note is because of the 13-year-old stuff or what. But
What was the proof on the last one?
you said it was 45, right? This is 43.
Yeah, 43%.
Yeah. This on the nose.
It smells very similar to the what's the single barrel. It smells like the single
The
barrel. to
Kentucky
me.
Spirit.
Yes. Yep.
I would agree. This has more of the cherry back, but it does have nods towards the diamond almost. Just in the nose.
Or let's see. No, I said this. No, the Spirit's one that I couldn't smell.
Yes.
The Russells. It smells more like the Russells.
The 10 year.
The 10-year.
It still, to me, smells like a combination of the two, of the diamond and either the Russell or the Kentucky Spirit, which is hopefully a good thing. Yeah.
I can't. I get so upset once you smell 7 or 8 bourbons back to back. You're kind of just like, it smells like bourbon.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's a little stronger. It's a little more elegant. Can I tell you what's different? No,
Not
but
exactly.
it's a little bit.
And yeah.
That's just the problem with going back to back to back to back.
Yep. I'm gonna taste this thing.
Yeah, it smells really good though. So, listeners, don't you worry. Father and Sons smells great.
Not quite what I was anticipating.
No.
That's more complex than I was expecting.
I like it.
Yeah.
Actually, I like this one a lot more.
That's weird. That
I
is
like
a
this one
roller
lot better
coaster.
than the diamond.
That is a roller coaster. None of these have been.
Totally the same?
None of these have been. What? I'm trying to describe. I got to try it again before I can.
Yeah. It starts off with a little bit of what should I call it? Let me do it again.
If we're talking about a roller coaster,
Okay, here we go.
yeah,
Nail polish right
Okay.
away. Super, just it's sheer. It's
Yep.
a strong, sharp flavor.
okay,
And then it jutters down. It's like a cotton candy kind of vibe for me.
yeah,
And then that's at the moment right when the cotton candy flavor hits, then it loses all of its sweetness and becomes like really grassy floral. I guess like a the stem, the kind of like that green grass kind of smell.
Mm-hmm.
But if you could taste the smell, that's what it is for me, and that just goes forever. It's so cool. Love that.
This is like what I would imagine the perfect scenario of blending all of the best aspects of like the Russells, the 101, the Diamond even, in the rye. Because it's got floral, it's got that pepper, it's got the cherry, it's got the vanilla from the Diamond, and it's got that little bit of mintiness from the rye and stuff.
Yeah, it does have a little bit of mintiness.
That's super interesting.
That's
Great job, Eddie. Or maybe this is Jimmy. It's
both
both.
of them.
I know, but which one really? Like,
probably Eddie.
Yeah.
I'm going to add some water. I haven't added water to any of these.
Yeah. I got too little, so that's okay. This was phenomenal. Best one yet. No, it's okay. No, really. I say best one yet, but still not the best bourbon.
Well, I mean, yeah,
It's nowhere near the best. This is like a
5.5.
I'll be generous. 3.6.
3.6. Oh no, it's just because we started so low.
Are we putting scotch in the mix of this? Oh, 2.
Have you guys ever had Fireball?
I've had better doers than this. 13-year age statement, my butt.
My butt.
Try a 32-year-old Lefroy.
25-year Ardbeg.
Do you have the rare breed bourbon?
Yeah, we do.
Gotta have some of that.
Oh yeah.
I kind of want it. I
Let's
need
sa-
to know.
I'd say let's save it after this next one.
Okay.
Because this next one is a
true.
little lower proof.
Oh, okay, sure.
It's
Yep.
higher than these, but it's.
No, I understand. Oh, I completely agree.
All right, I'm gonna try the. This is the Father and Son 13 with water. Okay, it didn't quite turn into it, but it the water smoothed out the roller coaster high points. Some of the things were really interesting. It got more similar to the Anniversary, the Diamond, but it's still not. It's still more complex than Diamond is. But I don't recommend water. Yeah. No, that one was. Hey,
I was pleasantly
Solid.
surprised with
I-
that.
Yeah, that's in the runnings for best Wild Turkey product.
that was like
that I've
$200.
had.
220.
220. You know what?
I've seen them go as high as 450.
For a liter, because these are liters.
Yep.
$200, 220.
That's
Unfortunately,
For a
I would say
piece
it's
of history.
It's probably close to being worth it.
yeah. I mean, obviously 220 is probably a little too much.
What
But-
did these price out originally? You know,
Not totally sure. I can look it up real quick.
Yeah, did you find this on the groups from friends of friends?
did some trading. Your father had this.
Insider trading.
So you bought all these on eBay, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You bought these on Amazon in
Poison.
Germany
Poison for goose.
when you were there.
Goose go.
Goose goes poison.
Right.
This person bought it for $80.
When?
This was an article from 2 years ago.
What's
Or
the
a
name?
blog. Rarebird101.com.
Yep, that's the guy I've talked to before.
Yeah.
Wow.
He says that's the retail price.
Okay.
But he bought it somewhere in Europe because he bought it for euros.
Because this is a
This is a
not.
Japanese release.
Yeah, it's not a domestic. Okay.
But why did he pay euros for it?
I don't know.
Should have paid yen. Or let's see. They have yen.
No.
in Japan?
no, you
no.
can-
You can get it in Japan as well as Europe.
Oh, okay.
It's the Traveler's Edition.
You could probably get it in
Gotcha.
Australia too.
Gotcha. He said he paid.
They would have this
65.
stuff at what are the stores called in
Retail, no,
duty free.
duty free. Yep.
duty.
He bought it for 65 euros.
I mean, $80, 13 years old. It's a liter.
This is saying average MSRP is $80.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, all day. And I'd always have
80.
one.
Yeah, that would be cool.
This one's saying it's 96 proof, but it's 86. It's probably just a mistake.
Father, it's 13 years old.
That's pretty good. That's
Yeah, it is way better without the water though.
usually I like stuff better with water.
No,
I mean,
yeah.
I didn't try it with it, but
I mean, this just smoothed it out. So if you like it smoother, then yeah, it's fine. But
it's good.
What's the next one?
yeah, I mean,
It's down by you, Zach, on the floor.
Oh my goodness, it's a box.
There's a box.
what's in the box? All right,
What's
so
in the box?
our next one is a Wild Turkey Masters Keep Edition. It's the Decades from 2017.
Oh boy, I'm excited.
We're gonna let Zach crack this one open. The angels sing when you open it.
No, you just gotta. It's like a front door.
It's a French. What is that?
Just the front.
It's a
lifts up.
double doors. Yeah.
Okay.
So what was the other one that you have? You have the Cornerstone.
Yep. I didn't bring it.
Yeah, I mean that's the only other one I've had.
Yep.
I've never seen any other ones.
Oh, I can find these all day. So many of them.
Yeah, but for how much?
Well, I went down to the MGM and they had about 4 of them, ranging from $60 to $80. You know, and I passed.
That was a deep pop.
That was a joke, by the way. That
Yeah,
you can't
I know.
find. Those cork. That's a donkey killing cork.
Dang.
Solid copper. They took a piece of the still and cut it out.
Did they?
No, they didn't.
I know.
And then we're gonna ask Zach if he could maybe read some of the wonderful verbiage and adjectivage that's in the box, possibly.
Adjective.
Once he's done pouring, of course.
It's like a paperweight.
Yeah, the cork almost closes itself when you place it upon the lip. All right. On the back.
The inside
Oh, the inside.
flap.
Flap. Flap. It's a bird. All right, let's read the whole thing.
If you want to.
It won't take that long. Masters Keep, crafted with conviction, Eddie Russell. Masters Keep Decades, the second expression in the series, celebrates a master distiller coming into his own. 3.5 decades have passed since Eddie Russell began his tenure at Wild Turkey. And in celebration of his 35th anniversary, Eddie presents a stunning bourbon made from a hand-selected lot of rare barrels aged between 10 and 20 years that represent the very best of 2 decades of bourbon making. Barrels for this limited edition were chosen from the center and upper floors of Wild Turkey's McBrayer Rickhouse. This harmonious mingling of liquid results in an extraordinarily enjoyable whiskey with the finesse and deep character of older bourbon, anchored by the bold, balanced, and vibrant backbone of younger bourbon. With a bouquet of oak and caramel, this exquisitely crafted whiskey delivers beautifully intricate flavors of butterscotch, dried fruit, chocolate, and smoke, and lingers with a smooth, sweet, and spicy finish. Masters Keep Decades is a bourbon of unrivaled pedigree, a spectacular triumph from a master who measures his experience not by the passage of years, but through decades. Eddie Russell, Master Distiller.
Wow.
Wow.
It's all right. It smells okay. I'm sorry. I'm just...
Low 50%. I think it's 51, 52, I forget. But I forget exactly what the story is, but I don't think they're technically supposed to put 10, 20 years old. Apparently that may have been a conflicting
information
conflicting with what the TTB has put as far as what you can do, because you're not allowed to put like the highest stuff. I think it's lowest, but I think I forget exactly what the ruling was or why.
Because it's Wild Turkey. They can do what they want.
Exactly. The nose is similar. I mean, it's got a little bit more vanilla, I think, than the younger stuff.
I get more butterscotchy.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to...
Like, just slightly.
Is it super... Like, is the alcohol really coming out of it for you, too?
Yeah, the ethanol is very... It's extremely prevalent on the nose.
I thought it was just me for a second, but Zach's definitely...
Yeah. Well, because I was a little bit my own fault trying to really get into the smell. And then, you stick your nose in just that 1 inch too far. But, yeah, I'm having trouble getting anything other than... I mean, a little bit of, like... campfire. Well, campfire smoke. Specifically, that it's the char. It's the... I don't know what qualities make smoke smoky.
It could be just the charred oak, or it could be the peat too. But the charred oak, I would say it's that.
Yeah.
This I think that vanilla is definitely coming from older barrels.
Oh, yeah.
This has it too.
Very much so.
It's
better than diamonds.
Oh my dude, that's better than lots of things.
Yep.
That's better than I'm trying to think of another premium bourbon.
4 out of 5 stars, Zach.
Yeah, this is like a 7.
Or 4 out of 10.
This is a 7 out of 10.
Yeah.
This is better than a lot of things.
3 out of 5.
6.5.
3 out of 10.
7. This is it's got the same this is where I'm gonna keep saying this is, and then eventually I'll come to a conclusion, but this tastes like a Buffalo Trace product.
It does. No, it does. As soon as you said that.
This tastes like I guess I would say from what the episode we had only a week ago, tastes like E.H. Taylor.
That's what I was going to say, too.
Super cherry bomb. Despite not being that as hot as E.H. Oh, no, yeah, it is. About the same, 52%.
It's sweet. It is just sweet.
It's not just sweet, though.
Well, no, but it's very sweet.
I love how this is the best body of them all. Because it has no roller coaster effect. It's just like 70% strength all the way through.
Yep.
And it really activates your taste buds with the dark fruit. Because that's the Buffalo Trace I'm getting, is all the dark fruits in there. We keep saying cherry, but it's not just cherries.
It's like black cherry.
Black cherries, blackberries, blueberries,
That's...
grapes. It's all those kind of in one. I guess Dylan would call it a jam, It's thicker, it's more viscous.
Yep.
And that's of course due to the proof. I'm not sure if if the diamonds was 50%, could have tasted a little bit more like this, because that also had a nice warmth to it. A nice, I called them metallic, but that could have emulated something like this. Yeah.
This was reviewed also by... I was curious to see what this was scored by Breaking Bourbon. This actually did score slightly higher, 3.5 out of 5, compared to the Diamonds 3.
I would have said, in comparison, if the Diamonds was a 3, this is a 4. This is a full step higher.
Okay. Yeah. Super cool.
Can we have the rare breed? Yeah. All right. So I really like the rare breed barrel proof. I mean, this is just, it's darn good.
I wish we could find that revival, the sherry finished one. This is a 36-year-old rare breed.
This is actually the first barrel that Jimmy ever made.
1942.
Yep.
So we're talking, this is way hotter, 58.4%.
It's if you can try to get past the ethanol, there's like a musty. Is it must?
Kind of get that.
What?
I mean, this smells like how the ryes smell. It's got this like pepper pickle vinegar. The vinegar.
Vinegar.
It's a weird nose.
I think it smells all right. I don't think it smells that good. It doesn't really make me want to drink it. Like if you handed me this and like, hey, this is a special one, and I drank it, I smelled it, I would be like, yeah.
Sure about that?
You sure this is special?
I forget. I do like this stuff a lot.
I'm a sucker for proof, man.
Yep.
Yeah, it's good.
This is so good.
It
Come on.
the only thing I would say about this is there's a little bit of the grain still makes its presence known.
It does, yeah. Yeah, this doesn't round.
It's not
It
aged
doesn't
out.
round very
Yeah,
well.
you can tell you're dealing with
It's
it.
peaky.
Yeah.
It's got lots of peaks. It's poignant towards the end, which is odd. Usually things fizzle out or dry out or the sweetness slowly fades. This is just strong, and it keeps getting stronger in your mouth until eventually it just cuts off. But yeah, I like the barrel proof more than everything except for the Master's Keep. And this is
$47 depending where you find
right.
it.
Yep.
And the value proposition is absolutely there.
This does have vanilla to it though, actually, more than I was expecting.
Is there an age statement on those?
No. It's probably around that 6 years, 7.
Because I always try to compare this in my mind. This and the Old Forester 1920 are kind of like the same thing. Like they're competitors directly to each other. And barrel proof always, or rare breed barrel proof always edges them out to me. Especially now that they changed the 1920 prohibition style to different. I don't know if it's different mash bill or different.
Probably just younger.
Rick housing or maybe it's just younger, but this is way better.
It's unfortunate.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because
The older 1920 was really, really good.
yeah. But anyway, back to Wild Turkey though. They got a legacy.
Yeah.
And it's nice to see that they do put lots of effort and uniqueness into their legacy products, their special occasion whiskeys. They don't just slap a name on
A regular bottle of
a
101.
regular bottle, right? And then, or maybe they would have aged it a couple extra years, or maybe they would have just made one that's usually a blend, made it a single barrel, called it something special, did it for a year. That was it. They don't do that. They did once. They did with the Forgiven, like, oh, mistake, haha, let's do something fun. But yeah, so
Yeah, so as far as final thoughts, Zach, you kind of gave yours. What do you think, Liquor Boy, as far as the lineup?
Diamond, disappointing. Decades,
Disappointing.
I mean, so I had it last night. We opened the bottle last night. It was better last night than it was today. Just like a little bit.
maybe because it was a more special occasion.
Maybe.
Father and son.
Yeah. It was it was just kind of disappointing compared to the decades. That was the best one. Personally.
Okay. Yeah. I guess for me, the happy with the 13. Super. 13? Yep, the father and son. We split it.
Half of it was his.
Yeah, super happy with the father and son 13, the roller coaster of complexity.
Flavor.
Yep. Was happy with that. I like the Diamond anniversary one. I don't remember what it was when it came out as far as MSR, but $175.
I paid $175. It was not $275.
But yeah, I think that price it's
$115, $120.
15. Yeah, that's tough to say. At $115, I probably would have got a bottle, but definitely at the second, pricing, it's not super worth it. The Decades is really good.
It's really good.
So, and if you could have got one of those, then it's something you kind of hold on to. But yeah, otherwise, the rare breed, great value. But once again, it's been fun kind of looking at the history of it and where Wild Turkeys come from and the history behind it. But yeah,
Thanks, Jimmy.
Thanks, Eddie.
hopefully they do another 60 years. Once again, this has been the Whiskey House Pub House. We're gonna have that bottle giveaway probably at some point. So check out our Instagram, Whiskey House Pub House on Instagram. Still have an email, whiskeyhousepubhouse@gmail.com. But feel free to send us any questions or comments.
See you on the next one.
Gobble, gobble.